You ever been so focused on chasing someone, on proving to them that you're worth it, that you forget who you are? Let me paint this for you. Picture a man running down a long road, heart pounding, feet aching, sweat dripping from his brow, but he ain't running from danger. No, he's running towards someone. Someone just a few steps ahead. Every time he gets close, they glance back, smile, and take a step further away. Teasing, tempting, never stopping, and what does he do? He runs harder. That's what it's like chasing love. It's a trap dressed up like a dream, and it fools good people, smart people you thinking they got to earn love like a trophy, that they have to win someone's heart like it's some competition. But let me tell you, love is not a game show. It's not a prize at the end of a maze. Love don't reward the fastest. It don't crown the most desperate. It doesn't honor the one who sacrifices themselves the most just to be noticed. That kind of love, if you even catch it, will burn you out, break you down, and leave you empty. I've seen folks twist themselves into versions of who they think someone wants. They shrink, they bend, they disappear piece by piece, all in the name of being enough. But here's the tragedy: when you chase someone long enough, you stop becoming yourself and start becoming their idea of who you should be. That's not love, that's performance, that's survival. And what happens when you finally catch them? You stand there, breathless, holding on to someone you barely know, while you've forgotten the person you used to be. Listen, if someone can only love you when you're reaching, running, proving, that's not love, that's validation dressed in disguise. And I say this with all the fire in my soul. You were not born to chase. You were born to attract. There's a difference between pursuit and pursuit without purpose. Real love, the kind that grows roots and lasts through storms. It doesn't make you chase it down the road like some phantom. It walks beside you, it meets you halfway, it sees you, without you having to yell. So if you find yourself chasing, if you feel like you're always the one reaching out, the one holding on while they're letting go, step back. Not out of bitterness, not out of ego, but out of wisdom, because the love that runs from you was never meant to rest with you. And if you're always running, you never get to stand, you never get to be. And baby, you deserve to be still, be seen, be loved for who you are, not who you perform to be. You stop the chase when you realize you are not the seeker, you are the sacred. People talk about love like it's a place, a destination, like if you just keep moving, keep searching, keep knocking on enough doors, eventually you'll find it. Like it's marked on some invisible map, X marks the spot, right? But love ain't no destination. Love is a mirror, and I don't mean the kind of mirror you glance in to fix your hair before a date. I mean a real mirror, the kind that shows you everything. The good, the broken, the parts you hide when you're scared no one will stay. The mirror don't lie, it don't flatter, it reflects. See, most people out here are looking for someone to complete them, to fill a void, patch a hole, heal a wound they haven't even looked at themselves. But that's the problem. If you don't recognize who you are in the mirror, you won't recognize real love when it's standing right in front of you. And let me tell you something else. That chase we talked about, that constant reaching for love like it's out there on the next corner, behind the next smile, the next text, that only happens when you're trying to escape the mirror, when you're scared to sit still with yourself. But you can't outrun your own reflection, because the moment someone comes close, really close, the moment love dares to look deep into you, guess what it sees? It sees exactly what you've been avoiding. All of it. And if you haven't made peace with who you are, if you haven't learned to stand in front of that mirror without flinching, then no matter how much they offer, you won't be able to hold it. You'll sabotage it, you'll doubt it, you'll question their love because you haven't found your own. People think love is about finding the right person, but real love is about being the right reflection. You can't map your way to that. You can't achieve it through dating apps or strategy or the perfect Instagram story. You arrive there by knowing who you are, by accepting the cracks in your soul and realizing that they're not something to hide. They're where the light gets in. You ever meet someone who radiates peace, who doesn't beg for attention, doesn't play games, doesn't need to be chased or chosen or rescued? That's someone who's done the mirror work. That's someone who ain't looking for a savior. They're already whole. And when they love, they don't smother you or cling to you or need you to fix them. They see you. They love with clarity, with presence, because they've learned. Love doesn't fix you, it reflects you. And the mirror don't lie. So if you want something lasting, something real, don't go looking for someone to complete your picture. Go find your own reflection, sit with it, learn it, grow in it. Because once you do, the right love won't need a map. It'll see your mirror and say, there you are. I've been waiting to meet the real you. And that's when love gets real. We spend so much of our lives looking outward, searching, scanning, hoping someone will show up and make everything make sense. We look for someone to pick us, someone to say, you're enough. Like their love is supposed to unlock something inside us that we can't seem to find on our own. But let me ask you something. What if love doesn't start with finding someone? What if it starts with becoming someone? See, the real shift happens the moment you stop asking, when will I be loved? And start asking, who am I becoming while I wait? Because love doesn't arrive like magic. It doesn't swoop in to save the day like some Hollywood ending. It responds to energy, to alignment, to purpose. You attract what you are prepared to hold. You attract what you embody. You ever notice how the right kind of people start showing up when you stop chasing and start growing? When you stop begging and start building, that's not a coincidence. That's a reflection. Because when you become love, you don't need to look for it like it's missing. You radiate it. You move like it. You live like it, and let me be real with you. There's a version of you that love is waiting for. Not the watered, down people-pleasing version. Not the exhausted, empty one who's been giving too much for too little. I'm talking about the becoming you, the healed you, the you who stopped waiting for someone else to crown you and went ahead and crowned yourself. That version, that's the version that don't just find love. They build it, they create it, with every decision, with every boundary, with every time they say, I am not settling for less than what I'm worth. And the power in becoming, that's the key right there. Because when you focus on your growth, when you learn to love your own company, when you start creating a life that feels good to you, not just looks good to others, you become magnetic. People start to feel your energy before you even speak. You walk into a room and don't have to say a word, and the air shifts. That's not ego, that's alignment. That's someone who knows who they are and doesn't need anyone to validate it. And listen, I'm not saying it's easy. Growth is hard. Becoming is a stretch. Sometimes you gotta break in places you didn't even know existed. But every scar, every lesson, every time you chose yourself when it would have been easier to chase someone else, that's you becoming. Becoming the kind of person who doesn't just fall in love, they elevate it, and that kind of love, the kind you attract by becoming, it ain't fragile, it ain't confused, it doesn't make you question your worth or beg to be seen. It knows what it's looking at, it's grounded, it's sacred, it's real, so no, stop trying to get love, start becoming the kind of soul that can hold it. Because love isn't something you find at the end of the road. It's something you grow into step by step, breath by breath, truth by truth. And when you do, you'll stop chasing what was never meant for you and start attracting what was always trying to find you. You ever been surrounded by people and still feel invisible? I'm talking about that kind of quiet pain. The one where you're smiling, laughing, showing up every day like everything's fine. But inside, there's this ache. This hollowness, that silence that screams when you lay down at night. That ache that comes not from being alone, but from feeling unseen even when you're not. I've been there. I remember sitting in my apartment one night. Phone full of contacts, social media lighting up with likes, comments, what's up, messages. But nobody really calling. Nobody really checking in to see how my soul was doing. Just noise. And in that moment, I realized being lonely doesn't mean you're unloved. It means you're disconnected from yourself. See, loneliness ain't just about missing people. Sometimes it's about missing you, the real you, the you that got buried under all the pleasing, performing, proving. The you that stopped speaking up because love once punished your honesty. The you that shrank to fit into spaces that never fit you in the first place. But here's what I learned in that silence. Loneliness is a teacher. And like any good teacher, it doesn't coddle, it confronts. It holds up a mirror and asks hard questions. Why do you keep giving to people who don't pour back? Why does their absence feel louder than your own presence? Why are you trying to be chosen by someone who doesn't even know how to see you? And the hardest one of all, when did you stop choosing yourself? That kind of questioning don't feel good, but it's necessary. Because the pain of loneliness, when you stop running from it, becomes the birthplace of clarity. See, when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when there's no hand to hold, you find out who you are without the audience. You find out what you believe, what you need, what you've been settling for, and slowly, piece by piece, you start rebuilding, not for them, not for the next person who might come along, but for you. That solitude, it ain't punishment, it's preparation, because love without self-awareness is chaos. It becomes a performance. You start attracting people who fit the version of you that you pretend to be. But when you spend time alone and really meet yourself, you stop pretending. You stop chasing people just to fill space. You learn to sit in your stillness, to rest in your own company. And when you get to that place, when you've sat with your own soul long enough to make peace with your past, to forgive yourself, to speak kindly to the person in the mirror, that's when you stop begging for crumbs and start expecting the feast you deserve. I'm telling you, there's power in the lonely seasons, because the truth is, not everyone you lose is a loss. Sometimes God subtracts to multiply. Sometimes people walk away not because you weren't enough, but because your growth made their comfort feel too small. And that's okay, let them go. The ones who can't see your light were never meant to walk in your shine. The ones who don't choose you weren't meant to carry your crown. So the next time loneliness creeps in, don't run from it. Don't numb it, don't fill it with noise, sit with it. Ask it what it's trying to teach you, because behind the ache is wisdom, behind the silence is strength, and one day you'll look back and realize that lonely season built the foundation for a love that finally felt like home. You ever see someone walk into a room and they don't say much, but somehow you feel them, not because they loud, not because they trying to impress anybody, but because they carry something different. Something still, something solid. That's what it looks like when a person walks in worth, not want. See, there's a difference between wanting love and knowing you deserve it. When you walk in want, you're always reaching, always trying to prove, to earn, to persuade someone to choose you. You send the long texts, you overlook the red flags, you settle for half effort and call it potential. You accept the bare minimum and dress it up like it's a blessing, because deep down you believe that maybe this is as good as it gets, that maybe love is something you have to chase, that maybe you gotta convince someone to stay. But let me tell you something, and I hope it sinks deep. You never have to convince the right person to love you. You never have to audition for a role that was written for you. When you walk in worth, you don't chase what runs. You don't beg to be understood. You don't keep shrinking to fit into places that couldn't handle your full size. You stand tall, knowing that your value is not determined by who stays or who goes. It's in you. And it was there before they came, and it'll still be there when they leave. Now I know. It's hard, especially when your heart is wide open and all you want is connection. Especially when you've been waiting, praying, hoping. Especially when you're tired of being strong. But baby, let me tell you, your worth is not up for negotiation. Not everyone has the capacity to love you at the level you deserve. That doesn't mean you lower the bar. That means you stop inviting people to a table they're not ready to sit at. You are not for everyone, and that's okay. When you start walking in worth, you speak different, you move different. You stop asking, am I enough? And start saying, are they aligned with where I'm going? You stop measuring your value by someone else's affection. You stop staying in spaces that drain you just because you're afraid to be alone. Because guess what? You'd rather walk alone in truth than stay surrounded in pretense. And when you live like that, when you walk in your truth, your boundaries, your you don't just attract any kind of love. You attract right love, whole love, love that recognizes your soul and doesn't try to dim your shine. So many people out here are craving connection but starving for self-worth. They think if they just get love, the emptiness will go away, but love doesn't fix emptiness, worth does, because when you walk in worth, even your loneliness has dignity. Even your waiting has peace. You become someone who says, I'm not desperate, I'm discerning. You don't run after love. You receive it when it's real. You don't settle for someone who kinda wants you. You hold out for the one who chooses you with clarity, with consistency, with courage. So hold your head up. Don't apologize for your standards. Don't explain your boundaries. Don't lower your voice to keep someone comfortable. Walk in your power. Walk in your peace. Walk in your worth. Because the moment you stop moving from want and start standing in who you are, that's when love stops running and starts finding you. So here's the truth I want you to leave with today. Stop chasing love like it's some elusive prize on the horizon. Stop running yourself ragged trying to prove you're worthy, because love isn't out there somewhere waiting for you to catch it. It's already inside you, waiting for you to stop running and start becoming. When you stop chasing, you create space for real love to walk in. When you stop begging, you make room for someone who chooses you fiercely and without hesitation. When you walk in your worth, unshaken, unapologetic, you become a beacon that draws in the kind of love that's built to last. Remember, love is not a map to be followed, but a mirror to be embraced. It's not a race to be won, but a reflection of who you are becoming. So stand tall in your story. Embrace your solitude. Walk with purpose and peace. And above all, believe this, you are already enough. Let love find you, not because you chased it down the road, but because you stopped, looked in the mirror, and showed up fully as yourself. Now go on and live that truth. Thank you.